All right, so are you ready for this?
I think so, yeah. Hit me.
Today, we're stepping up to the plate and diving right into, well, a major league scandal.
Oh, this is going to be good.
It is. It is. Remember back in 2017, the Houston Astros, that World Series win?
Uh-huh.
Turns out things weren't all home runs and celebrations behind the scenes.
Oh, I've got a feeling I know where this is going. Lay it on me.
You sent us this awesome episode, bottom of the ninth,
From American Scandal.
and yeah, from American Scandal.
Yeah.
And we're going to kind of unpack how this team went from being, underdogs to champions.
Right.
But then, bam, smack dab in the middle of the biggest baseball controversy in years.
Yeah, it's a story that goes way deeper than just, stolen bases. I mean, this is a culture clash.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like old school baseball versus this, like whole new wave of data-driven, strategy.
Politics?
Yeah, exactly. And the ripple effects of this thing, it went way beyond just the Astros.
Oh, wow. So this is big.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Okay, so let's set the scene then. Enter, Jeff Lunau, the Astros general manager.
Right, the guy who loved shaking things up.
Yeah, and he was all about data, right?
Totally. Data-driven approach transformed the team's, their whole fortune.
But even back then, right? Even when they were winning, there were these whispers of cheating starting to go around.
Oh, yeah. Think Moneyball, but like on steroids.
Really?
Yeah, Lou now, I mean, he believed in analytics so much. Some people were calling him like a baseball revolutionary.
Wow.
Yeah, but the question is, when does pushing the limits, of innovation,
Right.
when does it cross the line into something unethical?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets really, really interesting because, while the Astros are celebrating their 2017 win, these whispers, they start turning into like full-blown accusations.
Uh-huh.
There are even these crazy rumors going around about a scheme.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the massage gun.
Yeah, the massage gun. I mean, who would have thought?
Right. So bizarre. Rival teams, they were so suspicious.
Right.
They were literally searching Minute Maid Park, like for evidence, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were convinced. The rumors that the Astros were using a massage gun to
Oh.
tap on the wall?
What?
Yeah, to send vibrations.
Vibration?
Yeah, like signal pitches to the batter.
How would they know the code?
I don't know, but they even found this like weird dent
Where?
in a bathroom wall.
What?
Yeah, it lined up with the dugout.
No way.
Yeah,
So they thought they were Morse coding through the walls with the massage gun.
pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe the massage gun thing was just a wild goose chase.
Yeah, maybe.
But it shows just how deep, the suspicion ran with this team.
Right, right. They were already on everyone's radar.
And then things get even more complicated.
Oh, yeah. Buckle up.
With the Roberto Osuna trade, it was a big deal, right?
Huge. Osuna was talented, like crazy talented pitcher.
Right.
But he was also facing some serious allegations.
Of what?
Domestic violence.
Wow.
So bringing him on board, it caused a major, major uproar. I mean, both inside and outside the organization.
So the Astros were willing to overlook these allegations for a star pitcher.
Well, that's how it seemed. It definitely raised questions about their priorities.
Yeah, I can see why that would rub people the wrong way.
For sure. And there was this one exec, Kevin Goldstein, right?
Okay.
He was so against it. He basically argued that winning at all costs, it wasn't worth, sacrificing the team's moral compass.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Powerful stuff.
So talk about a dilemma like baseball talent versus ethical concerns. It kind of seems like Lou now, his focus on winning, it might have blinded him to the bigger picture.
Yeah, and that's where you see that culture clash I was talking about.
Okay.
The old guard, right? They believed in fair play above all else.
Right.
But Lunau's approach, I mean, it was more about exploiting every possible advantage.
Even if it meant being unethical.
Even if it meant pushing those boundaries, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so they bring Osuna on board despite all the controversy.
Uh-huh.
It seems like they're really sending a message that winning is the only thing that matters.
It certainly seemed that way.
But even as all this is happening, there's another story brewing. A story that, well, it becomes synonymous with this whole Astros scandal.
You're talking about the trash can, right?
Yeah, the infamous trash can scheme. I mean, what?
So this is where the Astros' obsession with data, it meets some surprisingly low-tech methods.
Really?
Yeah, imagine this, right? You got players in the replay room, they're decoding signs,
Okay.
catcher signs, and then they're signaling pitches to the batter
Oh,
by banging on a trash can.
a trash can.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
It's ridiculous,
Pretty
right?
low tech.
But it was effective, apparently. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
A split second, heads up
Right.
on what pitch is coming, that gives you a huge advantage.
It does.
And don't forget, this was happening in their home stadium.
So they had the home field advantage, plus this whole, like, elaborate.
Yeah, this whole operation going on.
No wonder teams were suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, put yourself in their shoes.
Right, right.
Something's fishy, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the trash can either.
What else?
There were allegations of whistling.
Whistling.
Whistling from the dugout.
Like, during the game.
Yeah, during the games.
Okay.
Especially during that 2019 ALCS.
Against the Yankees.
Yeah. And Aaron Boone, the manager, is furious. I mean, he was accusing them of blatant cheating.
I've seen those clips. Boone, he's usually pretty calm, but he was.
Oh, he was livid.
Yeah, yeah. You could tell this wasn't just about, like, one game.
No, it was about this growing sense of frustration. Like,
Yeah.
it was about disrespect for the game,
Yeah.
And that sense of disrespect, it was amplified by the Brandon Taubman incident.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was bad. Here's where we see that, like, win-at-all-cost mentality really creating a toxic environment.
For sure. Taubman, the assistant GM,
Yeah.
he made some, just incredibly inappropriate comments towards female reporters.
I remember that.
Yeah, particularly one who had criticized the whole Osuna trade.
Oh, right.
I mean, it wasn't about baseball anymore. It was about basic human decency.
Yeah, yeah.
And it raised some serious questions about, like, what kind of culture had been fostered within the Astros organization.
Right. I mean, at this point, the Astros were basically like baseball's villains.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Talented, but
But with a reputation, for sure.
yeah. But the truth about the sign stealing, it was still mostly rumors, and it was speculation. And then
Mike Fiers enters the picture.
yeah, Mike Fiers, he was a pitcher for the Astros.
Right, but he decided to blow the whistle.
Why would he do that?
I mean, Fiers, he was risking a lot by coming forward. He knew he'd face backlash from teammates, potentially even damage his own career.
Right.
But he said he felt like a responsibility
To what?
to the game, to protect the integrity of the game.
Okay.
He saw how the Astros' actions, how they were impacting other players,
Okay.
especially young pitchers. He said they were being unfairly disadvantaged.
I see. It must have taken a lot of courage to speak out against, his own former team.
Oh, absolutely. It was a huge risk.
And his testimony, it was basically the bombshell that, blew this whole thing wide open.
It was. The MLB, they launched a full-blown investigation.
And what did they find?
What they found was damning, man. Confessions from players, like detailed accounts of the sign-stealing operation.
Oh, wow.
The whole thing, this wasn't just a few isolated incidents. This was like a systematic effort to cheat.
Oh, wow. So they were really caught red-handed.
Yeah, they were busted.
Now what?
Well, that's a story for part 2.
Ooh, I can't wait.
I know, right? This is getting good.
Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back with more on the Houston Astros scandal and a fallout from this whole mess.
It's a doozy. Don't go anywhere.
So the Astros, they were caught, right? Red-handed. What happens next?
Well, let me tell you, the fallout was massive.
Okay, yeah.
We're talking firings, suspensions, fines. They lost draft picks. The whole 9 yards.
Clearly.
The lead came down hard. They wanted to make it clear this kind of behavior, not going to fly. No way.
Wow, so the organization, they took a hit.
Oh, for sure.
But what about the players? Any of them face consequences.
Well, that's where things get a little, murky.
Oh, okay.
The players who were involved, they got immunity.
Community.
Yeah, in exchange for their honesty during the investigation.
Oh, okay.
So while they weren't punished directly, by the MLB,
Right.
it's important to remember they basically escaped any legal, repercussions because of this deal.
So no fines, no suspensions for the players.
Nope.
But they weren't exactly off the hook.
Nope. No. The court of public opinion, let me tell you,
Yeah,
can be pretty unforgiving.
for sure.
These guys, they were branded as cheaters. They were booed relentlessly, on the road. Some of them even received death threats.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah, their reputations, they took a serious hit. And, it's followed them throughout their careers.
It makes you wonder if they felt like, the immunity deal was worth it in the long run.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Tough question to answer. But, it does speak to the pressure you know?
To win.
Yeah, I mean, in professional sports, we're talking millions of dollars, endorsements, their whole legacy
Right.
on the line. Sometimes that pressure can lead people to make decisions that, under normal circumstances, they wouldn't.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I guess we'll never really know what was going through their minds back then.
Yeah, who knows?
But it's a good reminder that even when you think you're getting away with something,
Uh-huh.
there are always consequences.
Always.
And it's not just about the players either, right?
No, not at all.
Think about the fans. I mean, they put their heart and soul into this.
Oh, yeah,
They're supporting their team.
absolutely.
And then to find out that, the game was rigged, basically.
Yeah, it's a total betrayal of trust.
It is. It's no wonder so many people were outraged,
Totally.
This whole thing really shook, like the foundation of the sport.
It did. It did. And, it raised some really serious questions about leadership.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of creating a culture where this kind of behavior could even, happen.
Right.
Luluno, with his, data-driven approach, this win-at-all-costs mentality,
Right.
it created an environment where the ethical lines just became blurred.
It's like they were so focused on the numbers,
Yeah,
on winning, that they just lost sight of the bigger picture.
totally.
Like the integrity of the game, the spirit of fair play.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the real tragedy of this whole situation. It wasn't just about, stolen signs or banging on trash cans. It was about a fundamental shift in the way the game was being played.
Right.
And, the dangers of prioritizing winning above everything else.
So the Astros' legacy forever tarnished,
Pretty much. Yeah.
but they weren't the only ones implicated.
No, not at all.
I mean, remember Alex Cora?
Oh, yeah. The bench coach.
He went on to manage the Red Sox.
Right. But his past, well, it caught up with him.
What happened?
Well, Cora, he was a key figure in the whole Astros sign-stealing scheme.
Right.
And when the truth came out, he was suspended for the entire 2020 season.
Wow, a whole season.
A major blow to his career and, to the Red Sox as well.
So what happened after that?
We'll get this right. After his suspension, the Red Sox rehired him.
They did.
Yeah.
That's controversial.
Very controversial. Some people felt like, he shouldn't be allowed back in the game
Right.
after being involved in such a, major scandal.
Yeah.
But others, they believed he had served his punishment,
Okay.
preserved a second chance.
It's tough, right? Because it raises questions about forgiveness and redemption.
Yeah.
In pro sports. When is someone really accountable?
Right.
Can they ever really move past something like this?
Tough questions. No easy answers.
No, definitely not.
But it's a debate that continues, you know.
Yeah. And then there's Carlos Beltran
Oh, yeah, the star player.
for the 2017 Astros.
Right. And he was, singled out as one of the masterminds.
Behind the scheme.
Yeah, behind the whole thing.
His involvement, that was a shock, right?
Yeah. I mean, Beltran, he is a respected veteran, future Hall of Famer.
Right.
But this scandal, it tarnished his legacy.
It did. He was even offered a managerial position, right?
His Mets.
But then he was let go before even managing a single game.
I know. Crazy, right? The Mets decided the distraction, all the negative publicity surrounding Beltran, it was just too much.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible how quickly someone's reputation can be shattered.
It is. It shows you the weight that integrity carries,
Yeah.
in the world of sports.
Yeah.
And Beltran's story, it's like Cora's, right?
Okay.
It raises those questions about second chances.
Right.
He did eventually find his way back into baseball, though.
He did.
Yeah, he joined the Mets front office in 2023.
Oh, wow. So even in a case like this, it seems like time, willingness to, acknowledge past mistakes, it can lead to some level of redemption.
I guess so, yeah. It's a testament to, owning up to your actions and showing genuine remorse. And maybe, just maybe, baseball as an institution is willing to forgive, even if fans aren't so quick to.
Yeah. Speaking of forgetting, Jeff Luhnow,
Oh, yeah. The GM.
he's always maintained his innocence, right?
Oh, yeah. Always. He's claimed he had no knowledge of the sign-stealing operation.
Oh, right.
He's remained adamant about that. He even filed a lawsuit
Against who?
against the Astros for
What?
wrongful termination.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been very vocal about defending his integrity, his work ethic.
Okay.
But the MLB commissioner's report, it was pretty clear.
About what?
It concluded that Luhnow, as the head of the organization,
Right.
he was ultimately responsible for the actions of his team.
So regardless of whether he knew or not,
Mm-hmm.
it happened on his watch.
Yeah, and ultimately, the buck stops with the person at the top.
It does. It does. So the Astros, they apologized.
Yeah.
They faced the boos. The league implemented new rules, new technology, to try to prevent future cheating.
Right.
But the stain of the scandal is still there.
Absolutely, yeah. This wasn't just a minor infraction. This was, calculated, systematic effort to cheat.
Right.
And it had a profound impact. I mean, it eroded trust, sparked outrage, and raised some serious questions about the future of baseball.
Yeah, and it's not just about the Astros either, right?
No, no.
This scandal, it had ripple effects throughout the whole league.
For sure.
It forced everyone to kind of like re-examine things.
Yeah, like where's the balance between innovation and integrity?
Right.
The role of technology.
Right.
And, the pressures that lead people to cross the line.
Yeah, it was a wake-up call for sure.
Absolutely. It led to a lot of soul searching within the sport.
But despite all the negativity,
Yep.
the Astros, I mean, they managed to maintain a high level of success
Yeah, they did.
on the field. They even won another World Series.
In 2022, yeah, they did.
But their legacy, it's forever intertwined with this scandal.
It is. It's a reminder that winning at all costs,
Yeah.
It can come with a pretty heavy price.
Yeah. And even when you achieve the ultimate goal,
Hmm.
a championship,
Uh-huh.
it can be completely overshadowed by how you got there.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale about ethics, integrity, the spirit of fair play. I mean, these values. They're at the very core of what makes sports meaningful.
Now, before we wrap up this part of the deep dive, I want to shift gears a bit.
Okay.
Talk about something that's been on my mind.
Sure. What's that?
We've talked about the consequences for the Astros, for the individuals involved.
Right.
But what about the impact on those who are indirectly affected by this?
That's a good point. The fallout from this scandal, it extended far beyond those directly implicated. Think about, the families, the fans, even the city of Houston itself.
Right, exactly. I mean, the actions of a few individuals, it had this ripple effect
Oh, for sure.
that reached far and wide.
Yeah.
Like the reputation of a city was tarnished.
Yeah,
Fans, they were left feeling betrayed, disillusioned.
totally.
Families were torn apart by the controversy.
Absolutely. It's a stark reminder that ethical lapses, they can have far-reaching consequences.
Yeah.
Consequences that extend, way beyond the immediate participants.
We often focus on the people at the center of the storm, right?
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that their choices, they can have a devastating impact on those around them.
It's a reminder that our actions, they have a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And that even when we think we're only hurting ourselves, we might be causing pain and suffering to others.
Okay, so we covered a lot of ground. We've explored the events leading up to the scandal, the key players, the fallout, the consequences, and even, the broader ethical questions this whole situation raised.
Right. It's been quite a deep dive into one of the most fascinating and controversial chapters in baseball history.
It really has. But there's one more piece of this puzzle that I want to kind of explore.
Okay.
A question that's been, at the forefront of my mind.
I'm intrigued. What is it?
So it all comes back to, this question of a competitive edge.
Yeah.
Is there a line between, smart strategy and just outright cheating?
Yeah.
I mean, every team wants to win.
Right.
So they're all looking for any advantage they can get.
Of course.
So when does that cross over into something unethical?
Man, you've hit on a question that has, plagued sports for centuries.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. And the Astros case, this one really throws it into, sharp relief.
It does.
You've got, on the one hand, you've got that spirit of competition, right?
Right.
Pushing the boundaries, finding creative ways to, outsmart your opponent.
Yeah.
But then, on the other hand, there's the integrity of the game.
Right.
This idea of a level playing field,
Yeah, studying film,
Mm-hmm.
analyzing the other team's weaknesses, that's all part of the game, right?
Totally.
But the Astros, I mean, they took it a step further.
They did.
And that's where it gets, murky.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Take stealing signs, for instance.
Yeah.
It's been around forever, right?
Yeah.
A runner on second trying to peek at the catcher's signs.
Yeah. Yeah.
A coach in the dugout trying to decipher.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all part of the game.
Right. It's like the cat and mouse.
Yeah, exactly. The cat and mouse.
Yeah.
But the Astros, I mean, they use technology
Right.
to decode those signs in real time.
Wow.
I mean, come on, that gives you a huge advantage.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
So it seems like technology, I mean, it's really changed the game
It has.
and kind of, blurred those lines
Wow.
between gamesmanship and cheating.
For sure. And the challenge now for any sport, I mean, it's adapting,
Yeah.
figuring out where to draw that line.
Well-
What's acceptable today might not be acceptable tomorrow.
Right, especially as technology just keeps evolving.
Exactly.
It's like a constant, you know.
It's like a constant evolution of the rule book, you know?
Yeah.
Trying to keep up
What the-
ingenuity of people who want to like bend those rules.
Right, exactly.
But even with the most, you know, comprehensive rules,
Yeah.
you can't legislate ethics.
Right.
Ultimately, it comes down to the individual players,
Right.
coaches, and the culture that they create within a team.
So it's not just about having rules, it's about, you know, fostering that sense of,
Sportsmanship.
yeah, sportsmanship, respect for the game itself.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And that's where the Astros went wrong, you know?
Yeah.
They lost sight of that respect, got so caught up in winning
Yeah.
that they were willing to compromise their integrity.
Right.
And as we've seen, I mean, the consequences, they were far reaching.
They were it's a cautionary tale. It's for any team, any athlete, really.
Right.
I mean, it's a reminder that true success, it's not just about the scoreboard.
It's not.
It's about, you know, playing the game the right way.
Winning with honor.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And while the Astros, yeah, they might have, you know, achieved victory back in 2017,
Right.
I mean, it's forever tainted
Yeah,
by their actions.
it is.
Kind of a hollow victory, you know,
It is, yeah.
in a lot of ways.
And it's a story that, you know, I mean, it continues to resonate.
It does.
Sparking debates, right?
Right.
About the role of technology in sports, the pressure to win at all costs,
Right.
and what it really means to be a champion.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a conversation that needs to continue.
It does.
Not just in baseball, but in, you know, in every competitive arena, really, because as technology keeps advancing, the potential for these ethical, you know, breaches, it only grows.
Right. So what can we learn from this whole Astros scandal?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway,
Yeah.
integrity matters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about respecting the game, respecting your opponents, and ultimately, you know, respecting yourself.
Yeah.
Winning is great, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But not if it comes at the cost of your values.
Right.
So for those of you listening out there,
Yeah.
keep those values in mind. When you're cheering for your team, right,
Uh-huh.
celebrate their achievements, but also hold them accountable. Because at the end of the day, the integrity of the game, it rests on the shoulders of everyone.
Right.
From the players to the coaches to the fans.
Yeah. It really does.
Absolutely.
This deep dive, it's been a wild ride, you know.
Yes.
Exploring the dark side of a sport that, you know, we love.
Right.
But hopefully, you know, it's given you a new perspective,
I hope so.
something to think about
Yeah.
as you continue to follow, you know, the world of baseball.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Keep those questions coming. And remember, the conversation never really ends.